sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for. The grass is greener in America, where freedom sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for. Oh, 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 oh,
Hey folks, welcome back. It's Klatsch, Refugee Klatsch, on Sunday, July 5th, 2026, the day after we celebrate our 250th Declaration of Independence here in the United States. Our country is 250 years old now, 2.5 centuries. It's shocking to me. I can't even imagine this. I was a kid during the 1976 bicentennial, which was huge. This one on the day was huge, but the build up to it was a bit disappointing around the country. So Leupold wants to know, is there any truth or that I'm aware of some refugees got denial letters in the USA? If so, can refugees still get denial months after the resettlement in the USA? No, I'm unaware of anyone. Thank you, Rikus Bielefeld, for subscribing. I'm unaware of anyone getting a termination letter in the United States. I am in contact with over 3,000 refugees that are in America, and not one person has sent me a message telling me that they've received a denial letter in the U.S. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm just saying I've never heard of it. It sounds to me like more people trying to disrupt and undermine this program and discourage people. As far as your question, can a refugee get a denial letter after arriving in the United States? Well, it's not exactly how it works. So U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services can terminate your status, but only if it's determined that it was granted in error. In other words, you didn't meet the legal definition of refugee and were inadmissible at the time of entry. In other words, you're ineligible. So you can do that. But how do they do it? Well, there's a process. If you're already in America, USCIS must provide the refugee with written notice and an opportunity to respond. Unlike being found ineligible, not able to come over, which used to be, that hasn't been revoked as far as I know. If USCIS determines individuals did not qualify, the agency terminates the status. Then removal proceedings start. Once refugee status is terminated, the Department of Homeland Security can initiate removal proceedings in immigration court. You can't just be booted. It's got to go to court. You have the right to present your case before an immigration judge. So it's not like the ineligibility letters that people receive in South Africa. If you're in the U.S. and your refugee status is revoked, you must be given your day in court. And an immigration judge is the one that makes the determination, ultimately. Now, if the refugee's already adjusted status to a lawful permanent resident, a green card, DHS can reopen the case and attempt to rescind the green card in immigration court if fraud or ineligibility is determined. So, all right. So, there you have it. That's what I've said over and over again, and that's exactly what it is. So, you do still have to go to court. If you're in the U.S., you can't just be deported. You can't just be deported. And we've seen this with people who have green card status, Palestinian terrorist supporters who come to America and disparage America, and the United States tried to deport them, and the courts have prevented that. So if you've arrived in America, that doesn't mean you're safe. If you committed fraud, the judge is going to deport you. So I've said this over and over again. Your immigration status as a refugee is conditional. It's not permanent. It's not permanent. As long as you behave yourself, though, it's permanent. Or you didn't commit fraud. Does that make sense? All right, so that's what Leupold asked me at the beginning. So anyone else? He says you can be sent back if they find things that does not correspond. No, vetting is not changed. No, vetting is not changed. They're just doing it now better. Do we know if anyone got the denial letters managed to get to go ahead to apply again? You can't apply. Well, why are you even asking that question? There's no application. It'll be denied just like that. You cannot apply when you've been told no. But that's like, asking dad, can I go to the theater? No. Can I go to the theater? No. Can I go to the theater? No. You can't go. It doesn't change. No, nobody in the USA got denial letters that I'm aware of, Ross. Why do keep people spreading this bullshit rumor? Give me the name of someone in the U.S. and tell me where they live that actually got a denial letter. No one can do that because it's all bullshit. There are false prophets spreading false hope, probably watching this program right now. People who lie to you and mislead you. I don't know why they do that. They get some sort of, orgasm or high out of that, misleading people and lying to them. They want to be the savior of people, and they just lie. It's a shame. It's a shame. West Coast, I haven't heard the song. I mean, I don't know when you guys think I have time to do things. I haven't answered mail. I haven't taken a breath. I haven't gone to the loo. I haven't done anything for myself today. I've worked for you all today, so I haven't heard the song, but thank you. I'll listen to it when I get a chance. What a busy weekend. So happy to be having some time out, says Heidi. Every day is busy for me, 7 days a week. D. Thorne, what's up? My nerve is killing me. Why are your nerves killing you, Red? Be a, especially if you have only one. One what? Please, no question. You can ask about denial letters. That's going to be the big topic for today, Eugene. It's okay. They can ask about denial letters. I'm answering them. Okay. Just Louis Pretorius gave a 14 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. I wasn't expecting any super chats here, but thank you for that. Refugees placed in Florida supply their tie information at the beginning when they applied. Did anyone get placed by their tie? I don't know, Bia. People have been placed with their ties around the country, but in Florida, I don't know what refugees. I mean, and why are you asking about Florida? Are you asking about somebody specifically? I mean, there's hundreds of refugees in Florida. I don't know how many of them asked for a tie. I don't know that. I don't track that sort of thing. And why Florida? What's this obsession with Florida and Texas? You guys can have it. No, Bia, you don't have to apologize. This is Refugee Kaffee Klatsch. I just put the denial letters, hopefully draw a bigger audience, because the audience has faded on this Kaffee Klatsch, and I'm wondering whether it's worth my time to keep doing it. But with 270 people here, I'll keep doing it. But we've had smaller audiences. Back when this thing, a few months back, I was getting 750, 1,500 people for these refugee conversations. The numbers have declined dramatically. Debbie says it doesn't make sense to get a denial letter if you're in the U.S. It does. If someone sent it by mistake, if they got the wrong case number. Seems highly improbable, but it is possible. So, but it seems highly unlikely. Hey, Mike, what's up? Nerves are killing because I'm flying. Oh, you're flying. I thought you were worried about getting a denial letter. Okay. Nah, that's nonsense, altruism. Who's? There's no one. Because someone posted a letter. People who are now saying that they're going to remove themselves from this planet don't put things on social media in that fashion. I'm sorry. And then a phone number there to harass somebody? No, no one is that's another rumor going around, another bullshit rumor. No, I don't like Florida. I think it's horrible. It's unbelievably hot. It's overpopulated. It's ecologically fragile. It's in a hurricane zone. I don't like it at all. Nothing about Florida appeals to me. Disney World sucks. Ridiculously expensive ripoff. SeaWorld, nothing special. Florida, flat as a pancake. No, there's nothing for me in Florida. Bugs, mosquitoes, heat, miserable. Nope. Don't like Florida. Never liked it. I've been there several times. Does absolutely nothing for me. Nothing. I've been to Texas many times. Does nothing for me either. What significance if you cannot remember dates of previous U.S. visits, dates? So well, you do your best to answer it as best you can, Timbuktu. And if they call you on it, say that's the date I can remember. I don't keep track of my visits. I mean, I don't know who does it. You don't remember? I remember every country I've ever been to and when I went there for the most part. Now, places I visited in Germany, that's a bit difficult because I've been everywhere in Germany. Places I've been in South Africa, I've been there many, many times. But you didn't take photographs. You don't have tickets. Don't have anything, you answer the best of your ability, and hopefully they don't call you a liar. You answer your questions best, and you say, that's what I recall. It's common sense. Additional support if initial funds are depleted. Additional support from what? What are you talking about, Amal Hair? But what funds? What funds? What support? And where? See, you guys are asking questions that make no sense. And why are you asking that question? Are you in a situation where you're out of money? Or are you just asking because you're trying to find out if you can get a free ride in America? I'm not pointing fingers at you. I'm just asking. See, I'm not answering that question without more information. Why are you asking that question and where are you talking about? Because where you ask from makes a difference. If you're asking the question in New York versus Pennsylvania, there's a very big difference in whether there's support. If you're asking whether it's the agency that takes care of people in Las Vegas or Church World Service, very big difference in support. I can't answer that question without more information. Missed the fireworks. Sorry to hear you missed the fireworks. Probably be in time for cleaning up after the party. Hope you're doing well. Someone on one of the WhatsApp groups had tickets this coming week because tickets were canceled because of the denial letter. Makes all the sense in the world, Louis. Makes all the sense in the world. I've addressed this when I did my my video, my live stream about the denial letters on the 30th of June. Let me go back and see how many people tuned in for that now. Obviously, you weren't one of them because I talked at length about this. Come on, YouTube. Could you go a little bit faster here? Thank you, finally. Content's what I want. No, that's not what I want. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. No wonder it's taking so long. All right, here we go. So live. Which one was that? It was on the 30th. Come on. Okay, that video had 21,000 viewers. 16,000 were live. 5,000 came afterwards. I spent 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours and 51 minutes explaining this. It makes all the sense in the world. Let me explain, Louis. Let me explain. It's conditional. I've told people this all along. You can be denied at any time. Information comes forward, information from investigation turns up on investigation they've already approved, and it proves to be derogatory. You're done. You're done. Heartless? Maybe, but I've always said that. And Florida smells best, says Henry. Well, parts of it, not all of it. Florida looks good on TV. Well, enjoy it. Ill omen, welcome to you. Matthew Dixon, you can prefer to go to any state you're going, man, but you're staying in South Africa. You're not coming here. How can you get in contact with me? Obviously, somebody new to the program, the email address is on the channel under the About tab. If not, you can't find it. If it's difficult, then maybe one of the mods can place it in the chat for you. Louise, welcome. Hey, good to see you again. That's a lady. I can see the avatar now when you've been to Super Chat 40. We can't wait to go to the USA. Positivity is key. It is, but if you get denied, it's hard to be positive, so I can understand the people in that boat. Why do the new foreman SARS want your address where you're living in the USA? Feeling comfortable about that? Well, Joey, what I would do is I would just go ahead and look up the town you're going into, look up a hotel, and give them the address of the hotel. Any hotel. Pick a hotel. That's not their business. No, they want the same thing for me. The address I'm staying in South Africa, they can get stuffed. I'm staying in 35 different places on 35 nights, you know. Give me a freaking break. I'm not going to write 35 addresses down. They're nosy. This is what governments do. They're nosy, nosy, nosy. None of their damn business. You don't have an address where you're going to be in the U.S. if you're a refugee. Almost nobody comes over has an address. A few people already have, because their agencies have found permanent housing for them. They don't have to go in a hotel. But virtually nobody coming over here has an address. So be honest. Give them a hotel address. That's all you can do. Pizza party, 100 Rand. Just letting you know I still haven't heard anything back yet. Yeah, your situation's odd. I don't know what's going on with that. So, yep, hang in there. Thanks for the 100 Rand. No such thing as red or blue state. Yeah, exactly. That's a myth. That's just, you know, we use the term, but it doesn't mean anything. You know, for instance, California, 4 million people voted for President Trump. But that's supposed to be a blue state. But 4 million people voted for President Trump. Unfortunately, 7 million plus voted for Kamala the lunatic. Yeah. So Texas, Trump won by like 1 million votes. Lots of people voted for the Democrat. So there's people from all parties everywhere. There are some states that are more conservative, like Wyoming. Yeah, that's one that's more conservative. Refugee float for the 4th next year. There you go. That's a good idea, Pistons. Yep. Got to really piss off the leftists. But you won't be able to do it in a place like New York because the leftists will stop you. It's possible to participate in certain refugee social media groups. Yes, absolutely. Bia, I've said that all along. And especially when people started whining and moaning and making false claims about October, September, and October. Oh, our group got left behind. Our group got left behind. From that time, I told people, but before that I said, you got to be careful. Your social media, and the U.S. didn't tell people initially social media, but I told you, go back and watch my videos from over a year ago, 17 months ago. I said your social media can play a role. You could be denied based on your social media. That's not a good idea to be an ass on social media because it'll cost you. There, Yassine put the email address in. So did Charles. And yeah, so there you go. All right, don't post it all day, folks. It's there. I cannot say my take on IRC Atlanta. I've not interacted with them. I've not had any major issues with them, Angie. Is Veroshka here? Welcome, Veroshka. What's your take on... Okay, I already read that. Okay. What about people with parents who are in their 80s and bedridden? Is there support? Who would work? Huh? Parents in their 80s and bedridden, is there support? How would it work? I don't know what you're talking about. Those people, unless they're your wards, unless you have custody of them, they're your dependents, it isn't even germane. Are the parents who are bedridden, or do you have legal custody of them? Then it matters. If not, it's they have to apply on their own. Current timelines look like. There are no timelines, ICE, for the billionth time. There are no timelines. There is no such thing as a timeline. It doesn't work in any timeline. People applied in February last year, put an email in. They put an email in February last year. They did a statement of interest in May. They did intake questionnaire in November and not contacted until 19 February this year, and 9 weeks later came to America. Other people applied in July, and they got here already. People applied in June last year, just got here. People applied in September last year, got here a couple months ago. There's no timeline. Stop with the timelines. You answer the questions when they ask you. You go where they tell you, when they tell you, and it's how it works. You are at the mercy of the U.S. government. If you don't like it, not directed at you, ICE, but if you don't like it, then don't apply. That's how the system works. You have no control. Every case is different. There can't be a timeline. I cannot have a timeline for a 70-year-old and an 18-year-old. The 18-year-old has done nothing, presumably. The 70-year-old served in the SANDF, was in the police force, ran a business, had a lawsuit against them, had false charges dismissed. It takes time to investigate those things. El Marie, thank you. Sir, there are things in WhatsApp groups about the letter you sent. Yeah, you can send me stuff. It's a lot, probably dodgy, El Marie. Feel free to send me. Adrian, thank you for the 50 Rand super sticker. I appreciate that. There is no timeline. Every case is different. Every investigation is different. And your investigation, if it turns up something late in the process, can kibosh your whole situation. There's no timeline. There will be more denials, Linus. There will be more denials. More letters are coming. We had to cancel because of her disabled daughter is 41. She's not able to do all the interviews and travel. Very hard, just be honest. You canceled, Sharon. Okay, after going through all that. I'm sorry to hear that. You were asking about that. His red card has been suspended? Oh, seriously? That's huge news. Let me see. Okay. Oh, yes. Florian Balogun available for as red card suspended. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. That's huge. Huge. Is this going to be under The Athletic? Yeah, it is. Damn it, I can't. You bastards. I pay for New York Times and I can't see their sports. What a ridiculous. I might as well cancel my subscription to those turds. Cleared to play in World Cup match. Oh, now I'm saying the USA is going to win. FIFA has cleared the way for U.S. men's national team forward Florian Balogun to play in the round of 16. He scored a game-winning goal in last week's round, was shown a controversial red card, but under FIFA's own protocols, the play should not have been flagged to Brazilian referee Rafael by the video assistant, who asked Klaus to review the play on the monitor following slow motion. So FIFA broke its own rules. The U.S. Soccer Federation had no recourse to appeal the red card under FIFA rules. Global Soccer is governed by a made decision to allow him. In a statement from U.S. Soccer via Stu Holt, the Federation responded to the lift of suspension, saying, "We accept the decision of the disciplinary committee and are pleased that Florian Balogun is eligible to compete tomorrow. Our full attention is focused on round 16. Wow. Chapter 4, Article 27 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code on suspension of implementation of disciplinary measures notes the judicial body may decide to fully or partially suspend implementation of a disciplinary measure. Additionally, the code explains if the person benefiting from a suspended sanction commits another infringement of a similar nature and gravity during the probationary period, but that doesn't apply. There was a bogus, they broke the rules, so that doesn't apply. FIFA broke its own rules in referring that thing. Well, that's awesome. That's huge, man. Sorry, I know that's not Refugee stuff, but that's huge. USA will beat Belgium tomorrow. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. Thank you for that, Ryan. Arza says, that's all I know. They saw them always criticizing the program. Yes, government. I saw posts and comments. They got denial letters. Oh, no. Arza. 100%. That's probably why they got denied. Probably why they got denied. Not a guarantee, but probably why they got denied. But there's also, people are dishonest. I'm sorry, I'm not attacking. If you're here with and you have a denial letter, I'm not accusing you of being a liar or being dishonest. But a lot of people got denial letters are dishonest with themselves and with others. Half a dozen people came forward to me the day after they got denial letter. And they admitted what actually happened to them. One person had both spouses had safe haven passports. You're not eligible. You're ineligible. That's why you get an eligibility letter. And they pinned their hopes on this. But they can go to Europe. But they refuse to go to Europe for whatever reason. That's on them. They're not eligible. Someone else was involved in some kind of trafficking thing. They were trafficked and they wound up involved in shipping drugs. Sorry, that's a criminal act. That's you know, and a couple other people. One guy, lied. He you know, have you ever been arrested or convicted? No, never happened. But he was. Either he thought he'd get away with it, or he was foolish enough to think that an expunged record, meaning you have no criminal record, means that you never committed a crime, or you were never arrested. But you were arrested. If you're falsely arrested and you're arrested, if you're asked the question, have you ever been arrested, but it was false and the charge was dismissed, you say, yes, I was arrested. Oh, tell me about that. Well, I was falsely accused of the following things, and the charge was dismissed because there was no merit to it without prejudice on this date. Here's the paperwork to show it was dismissed. Don't lie. Guy lied. So look, I'm not accusing people who got denial letters of being liars, but I can tell you that people lie to themselves. They don't know why. They don't know why. Almost everyone who got a denial letter, I'm pretty confident, knows why they got a denial letter. Sean Nadir, thank you for the super sticker. What is it? Super sticker, super chat. Green Matty should stay in South Africa. 100 Rand. He want Matthew to stay in South Africa. Rika Butta says, in my case, shows all green. Can you still be denied? Absolutely. You can be denied up to the moment you get on the plane. Chipan says, I believe so. That's why I left home. And what have I been saying for at least 6 months, if not 9 months? What have I been telling you? Stay out of WhatsApp groups. Stay out of the Facebook groups. Stay away. Do you think the U.S. government stopped monitoring that stuff? It is. Stay away from those things. Number one, because you have false prophets who lie to you and mislead you and give you false hope and misleading information, like telling people that you can apply for a green card when you come to America. You cannot. You have to be here 12 months as a refugee, and then not only can you, but you must apply for a refugee card. I got someone who called me a liar when I told him the truth, and that's a statement. That's what the law says. Also got people, calling me a liar about $200 on pets, the cost to ship a dog to America. That's bullshit. They called me liars on that. They were wrong there. Got people call me liars about, about visas and all this other stuff. They don't know what they're talking about. Stay out of those groups. My refugee groups are limited to you receiving information. That way, no one can come in and spread bullshit. If you choose to go join all these other refugee groups, that's your prerogative. Do what you want. And those people constantly come in my chat. Well, Colonel Wyatt, what about this? What about this? What about this? Where are you getting it from? First off, if you've come here, and I'm not attacking anybody, but if you've come here and you ask me a question about people getting denials in the USA, then obviously you're not watching my channel, or you're not listening to me, because I never said that. I have no evidence of such a thing. All right? So you're getting it from somewhere else, which means you're probably on Facebook or on WhatsApp, and you got yourself all puckered up. Your pucker factor's like this now because you're listening to bullshitters. Now, if there are denial letters for people in the USA, send them to me, the person who received it. I will inquire on your behalf with the director of ORR. They don't issue the denial letters, but they'll check into it. Guarantee I'll do that. Not people who got denial letters in South Africa. I can't do anything about that. And I'm not saying I can do anything about people in America, but if anyone got it, I'd like to get to the bottom of it. But no one has come forward. June 30th, July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. 6 days now. 6 days. Not one person has contacted me. Over 3,000 refugees that I've been in touch with. Not one. Curious, maybe I missed it. Did you hear about the rumor or apparently phone refugees randomly to inquire if they have family? It's not a rumor. There's truth to that. I've talked to 2 refugees who were called by ORR. Yes, absolutely. And I believe the ORR is trying to follow up on cases because they're concerned as well. So let me ask you a question, guys. Let me ask this question, everybody. D. Thorne says, thanks for all you do for refugees. Thank you so much for your membership, D. Thorne. Let me ask you this question. Do you think you're the only ones that watch my broadcast? I know the numbers look great. They look bad. Depends on when you look at it. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But do you think you're the only one who watches my content? I've covered this before. We know that the South African, News 24, Newsroom Africa, Independent Line, Daily Maverick, Briefly, and News 24 all watch my program. Reuters watches my program. New York Times watches my program. I don't think the Washington Post does, but those guys do. I know that for a fact. South African government officials watch my program. U.S. Embassy personnel watch my program. ORR officials watch my program. USCIS officials watch my program. I'm not boasting. I'm just telling you facts. I'm telling you facts. How do I know this? Directly and through second parties. Yep. Bennett says every change is complete. Well, that's good news. Give a shout out spending 6 hours with us on Friday. Oh, yeah, no, I did. We didn't do news on Friday, which hurt my channel. I'm not complaining. Spook, that's right. I spent 6 hours with you guys on Friday. Was it 6? 9:30 to 4 o'clock. So that's 4, 5, 6. That's actually 7.5. I got there at 9:40. Almost 7.5 hours, not 6. But thank you for the super chat. Just came in from Just Louis Pretorius. 35 Rand. Thank you for that. I spent 7.5 hours with refugees on Friday. I didn't do my news program. Lost a lot of views. Didn't make any super chat money. It's not about that. It's about bringing the message. Super chats, if they come, fantastic. If they don't, I don't live off this. I use to pay taxes, and I occasionally use it to help. I use the money from the old channel to buy this computer to build it a few years ago. So I did spend time, and it was a pleasure for me, and I'm glad I spent the time with people, and hopefully I gave them good advice and good information. But my point is that, yeah, I did spend 7.5 hours with them, and you're very welcome. Thank you all for the company. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, those I spent with 3 families that came here, out migrated to Pennsylvania. Why is that's coming up from Facebook? Someone's joining from Facebook. I don't know why those keep coming up. I keep turning it off, and it's still, this software is not very reliable. Anyway, so yeah, they go through your social media. Yep. And TDS, yeah, if you're slamming the administration, that's going to kill your thing. Mehdi Hassan was on Penn and said Trump only let in white people in refugee program get the info from mainstream media. Okay, so Patrick Bet David, you guys need to go to that channel and tell him to talk to me. Tell him to talk to me, who's actually interviewed coloreds, Indians, and whites. And see, that's the problem. See, if you all watch Patrick Ben David, you should be over there now inundating him saying, you need to interview Colonel Chris Wyatt. You need to interview this guy because he has the facts. Nobody has done this. Not a single person for the U.S. government or refugee or any agency has done this. Traveled to all these places and held meet and greets and met families of refugees, interviewed refugees in all these places around the country. Over 30 meet and greets and discrete meetings with refugees in Idaho, Nevada, Florida, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and New York, and more coming. Nobody's done that. Why is Mehdi Hassan a scumbag leftist on Patrick Bet David? Why? Why doesn't he get the people that know the facts, that actually do real journalism? People that actually get on the ground and answer questions and ask the right questions instead of trying to stump people. Why? Go on Patrick Ben David and say, hey, why aren't you interviewing Colonel Chris Wyatt instead of this leftist hate wanker, Mehdi Hassan? Because they're stupid liars. Not Patrick Bet David, but Mehdi Hassan. Tomorrow you will get an update from me, Last Domino. The report comes out on the 5th, unless it's a weekend or holiday. It comes out the following business day. Tomorrow evening, my time, so it'll be late South Africa time, I will analyze the data and give you an update. Elmarie Mayer says, things on WhatsApp. Thank you for that. Smoke Cola, go through everything, your Facebook, your Twitter, Instagram, and accounts you didn't declare, accounts you've closed. Yep. Adrian, 350 Rand, thank you for that. And pray getting out under review and hopefully get approval. Finished all our interviews 7 months ago. All right. Works like Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Applied in March last year, nothing happened. Then I applied in January this year, and we're sorted out. Well, Werner, if you applied in March of last year, you didn't apply, you sent an email. And then if you didn't listen to me and do the SOI, you weren't going anywhere because the email from March means nothing once the SOI came out on May 12th. And if you didn't do an intake questionnaire on November 4th, then your SOI means nothing. So if you did nothing from March until January, that's why you didn't go anywhere. And I've been telling people this over and over again since November 4th. Right, you cannot compare your time with the person next to you in line. Everybody's case is different. We made it to the USA and celebrated 4th of July. Every timeline is different. Hey, Heinrich, what's going on? Timeline is God's will. Yep, patience and perseverance, Yassine says. The numbers will still be under 2,000, might break at 1,500. We'll see, Alan. We'll see. Person has cancer and doesn't have the strength to work. Will the person be denied? Okay, Leandra, I've only answered this question a billion times. Your medical condition, as long as you don't have a infectious disease, isn't germane. We've brought people over with cancer, people with Lou Gehrig's disease, people who are autistic, people who are mentally underdeveloped. That has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. 8 or 88, cancer-free, healthy, cancer-stricken, doesn't matter. No, Mark, I haven't read your email. Yes, Sarah, I'm sad to hear that. I'm sad to hear that. I don't understand why your daughter couldn't come over. I guess you don't have legal custody of her. So maybe that was the problem. Take me home to West Virginia, says Alan. Like being falsely accused and charged, found guilty because of false allegations. Because, yep, exactly. Cool beans. If you have a tie, does your process? Nope. nope. Your tie has jack squat to do with your refugee status. Let me ask this question. See, these questions, is it Emery Helmstedt? Not picking on you. Thank you for the question, but let me just turn this around. So let's just turn this around for you. Does somebody think that knowing somebody in America makes you more special, or you're persecuted more? Your case is stronger because you know someone? Nope. Nope. Nothing to do with it. Nope. Anybody tells you that's true, is lying. Charles said, no, the USA cannot appeal. You're wrong, Charles. The voice of reason, Charles Van Olsen, is wrong. USA cannot appeal the red card. FIFA can review it. They did. It was unjust. They overturned it. It was unjust not because of the actual incident. They wouldn't have overturned it for that, but because the official, the VAR, broke the rules. VAR cannot do that. It cannot stop the guy and say, go over. It's not like rugby. The TMO in rugby is different. That's why, Charles. No, the USA did not appeal. They did not appeal. FIFA corrected their error. And brilliant. For me, that was momentum that caused no red card. Right, I agree. Well, RFC, but he could have had a hat trick. He missed one that he should have made. He had one overturned, and he scored one. He could have had a hat trick. Saw the recent video. DA is definitely heavy left-leaning. Freedom Front is definitely right-leaning. No, the DA, the Freedom Front is not heavily right-leaning. No. Stop. Go read their manifesto from the national election. That's not heavy right-wing. Right-wing is implying something evil. There's nothing evil there. They're right of center. They're conservative, but they're not right-wing. No. Yeah. Oh, you said right-leaning. Sorry. I'm sorry. Left. I'm sorry. You said right-leaning. That's fair. Sorry, Stefan. That's fair. You're correct. I misread that. You're correct. They are right-leaning. That's correct. I know people who sold their belongings to get passports, get interviews, leave jobs when tickets received, and then deny without a why. Louis Harhoff. So you're not entitled to a why. That's unfortunate because it's an ineligible. The person is ineligible. Something they did or some reason that they don't qualify for being eligible to come over. It's not a question of fairness. It's a question of eligibility. It's a question of eligibility. If I commit a felony, I'm not allowed to vote. I've surrendered my right to vote and participate in the process. Not a question of fairness. It's a question of eligibility. I'm no longer eligible to vote. If I'm 16, I'm not eligible to vote. If I'm not a U.S. citizen, I'm not eligible to vote. It's a question of eligibility. Does it suck? Yeah. It does suck. Timbuktu says you can't have your own opinion expressed. And of course you can express your own opinion. You can express your opinion all day. But if you lie and mislead and slander America, do you honestly think that we have a responsibility to accept you as a person coming to this country? To live here? That's up to the country. You can say what you want. Today, I said that Tony Leon is a disappointment. Tony Leon stated in his interview with the tabloid of record and the propagandist in chief, Adrien Basson, that he's not a MAGA follower. That's his prerogative. That's not speaking negatively of America. He can say that. Then he said that he supported Kamala Harris. He can do that. He can say that. That wouldn't stop him from being a refugee, but it would stop him from being invited to any political activity I ever did. Clearly, his judgment's impaired. If he thinks Kamala Harris was the right person to lead this country, you can say what you want. As long as it's not a criminal act, as long as you don't defame and slander somebody. Public figures are different. Oh, Charles. No, I think they're going to win now. Yep. Muinoi keeps reading the time difference. Okay. Social media indicates you're someone that'll cause trouble. You'll probably get denied. Exactly. I mean, if you spew racial hatred on your social media accounts, why in the world should we take racists in here? We have enough racists. Not many, but one is too many. If you do that, I mean, you're going to make yourself ineligible. If you encourage violence on your social media, you're not going to get it here. You're not a safe bet. I mean, that's not a question of free speech. It's a question of being an adult. Neff says, I don't blame them for not wanting to go to Europe. I got you, but they got two passports. Both adults had a passport for Europe, so they can't come to the U.S. Simon Swanepoel, I don't have the answer for you. If you get a denial letter, can you still apply? You can. You can always apply, but without knowing the reason, I can't tell you if you're going to get the visa. I'll give you a case, okay? This is a case, all right? If you're a South African who lives in Qatar and you applied by using a VPN and you went for the interviews and you don't have a home in South Africa and you go back to Qatar and that's where your permanent residence is, or you have permanent residency there, you're ineligible. You're going to be denied because you're not a refugee. You're living in a safe haven, although it's not so safe now with the Iranians attacking it. But Qatar's a safe haven. You're going to be denied. So you're ineligible for that. But it's not a crime. It's not something bad. So if you apply for the U.S. visa, you probably get it. If, however, you were arrested and convicted of a crime 20 years ago in South Africa, and when you were interviewed by USCIS, you said, no, I've never been arrested or convicted, you're never coming to America. You're a liar. You're a liar. You lied to the U.S. government. You defrauded. Like Mel and Pete. Oh, we're coming on tourism. The moment they land, oh, we're setting up our businesses here. We've immigrated here. No, you're a fraud. Mel and Pete Fillon, you're frauds. You came here on a tourist visa with the intention of living here. And then when you nearly got caught, you apply for asylum. That's fraud. They will never come back to America. Either one of them will never be in America again. Spoke to someone on Saturday who had two friends who were denied. Both had criminal records. There you go, Henry. See? Yep. And they weren't honest with themselves. Russo says, we never did question there in November because we were first contact by then. Ah, okay. Well, that's a different case, Russo. That's a different case. Yep. Yeah. If they said if you've been contacted already, then you don't do the intake questionnaire. Okay. That's a different case. Okay. I'm trying to catch up on the chat here, folks. 486 people here right now. Be sure to hit that like button if you don't mind. There is no PET program, Timbuktu. What are you talking about, the PET program? The refugees are human beings, not pets. There's no PET program. Are you talking about Operation Pet Lift? Nothing's happening with that right now. Well, Red, I understand why they make you have permanent residency. If you don't have permanent residency, you shouldn't be serving the armed forces. It didn't used to be that way. Yeah, Europe is in worse shape, Bulletin. Thank you, El Marie. D. Thorne, thank you. As soon as we're in our permanent spot, we want to do an interview. Thank you, Moi Noi. Okay. Guys, what can I expect for the second digital interview? Well, no one should be discussing with you what an interview is. That would violate their non-disclosure statement. So I discourage people from answering Crescent Glow's question. What you should expect is for someone to ask you questions. Every second interview is different if you get a second interview. Some people never get a second interview. So no one can answer your question, and no one should try to answer it because they could make themselves ineligible. Just, did you have keys cut in Peter Matzberg? What? But did you have keys cut in Peter Matzberg just over a year ago? No, I've never had keys cut in South Africa. What are you talking about? Smoke-a-cola, what are you talking about? I've never had keys cut. I have no idea what you're talking about. You were phoned by RC to confirm who my links were, even though it's all in their documents. Well, Chesigi, I've told you, sometimes one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing. Someone gives someone a task, they tell them to do it, they don't give them all the information, so they have to run it down. Just Louis Pretorius, thank you for 35 rand super sticker. It is what it is. If you're not being truthful, USCIS is doing what it must. Be patient, stay in the shadows, don't go vocal on social media, remain calm. Exactly. The fact that they don't give you a reason you can't appeal means they don't really want too many refugees. No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's just your opinion. What's that based on? What is that based on? I think the fact that Trump set the refugee total at 7,500 tells you they don't want many refugees. not that you can't appeal. Again, the appeal meant nothing in the past. The process before they suspended it in April was you appeal to the person who denied you. Unless you have new information, amplify, or you have something to correct the record, you'll be denied again. So they just eliminated the process. But it has nothing to do with that. That's just your opinion, altruism. That's not a fact. That's just your view. That's not a fact. What about the program to help refugees? There are no programs to help refugees get proof. There's a Project X by Nicole Feldman, who showed her true colors And there is the Operation Pet Lift, which is moribund. I've seen photographs from Operation or Project PetX. They show me pictures of pets in kennels and claim that they arrived in the States. But I've never talked to a single person in America who'd received a pet through Project X or Operation Pet Lift. I know people brought their pets over, a couple people, out of their pocket, spending 40, 50, 60, 70,000 Rand. But I've got no evidence that anyone ever did it before. And after the treatment that I received from Nicole Feldman, I don't believe a word she says because of what she did, her vindictive behavior. So unless someone here shows me their pet and shows me the paperwork, I'm not believing any of it. Yes, tomorrow I'll get the number for refugees. Favorite place in South Africa? Pretoria, Alina. My favorite place is Pretoria. Although the Western Cape is pushing really hard for me to like it better. That's where I'm caught. Okay. Does the tax system there also work where they send you a predetermined assessment? No, there's no predetermined assessment. How can you have a predetermined assessment? You don't know what your income is. There's an exception, however. If you're self-employed, or if you underpay your taxes, they will send you an estimated tax schedule, and then 4 times a year you're supposed to pay them taxes. And they estimate it based on your previous income, not on your future income, which kind of sucks. And if you don't pay it on the quarterly, the amounts that they expect you to pay, they hit you with a fine. It's just a fee. So I've paid a fee for like $15 or $20 the past 2 years because I didn't pay it on the dates. Last year, January to March, I had no income. I mean, I had a couple $1,000, but what is a couple $100 tax? I'm not going to send them $4,500 in taxes. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And I got hit with a assessed fee. I overpaid my taxes and got a return. No, there's no such thing. Our tax system's completely different than that nonsense in South Africa. Lioness has a plan. I wanted to let you know about the false case against me where I was arrested 20 years ago. Did get all information from local court, and USCIS did let me know it's all okay. There you go, Charles. See, thank you for that, Charles. There's an instance of a person falsely accused of a crime. They got the information. USCIS has looked at it. They've told you it's okay. It's okay that they have it, or they've adjudicated, and your case is green. Okay. Lovely travel board. Yeah, thank you. United States, America's best country in the world. It will be an honor. Yeah. Cool Beans is making sure his social media looks good. Thank you, sir, for all your hard work. You're welcome, Okies. Okay, there was a program to help refugees get pets over. It was starting up again. Hasn't gone anywhere. Wonder how many Somalis and Afghans were dying in refugee states compared to South Africans. Would be interesting analysis. Well, Pizza Party, I can tell you that 168,000 flooded this country with virtually no vetting whatsoever in 3-week period under Joe Biden's cowardly withdrawal from Afghanistan. So, yeah, it's a fair question. That's why I made a video. Somalis, yes. South Africans, no. Yep. An assassination in Trump's life? I don't know about that. When did this happen? Assassination attempt. Let's see. No, I think you're talking about there's been information released on Butler, Pennsylvania. In Butler, Pennsylvania, there were 4 phone calls and 2 text messages that could have stopped that guy from shooting Trump. And the local police, the Secret Service, never clued them in on their network, and so they didn't stop it. That's probably what you're talking about. There's information came out this week about the Butler, Pennsylvania, finally. It's a year later. Would you go on The View? I don't know about that. Maybe. I'd be famous. I'd probably do it just to be famous. No, I don't know. Please, can you post their details so we can do more research? Post whose details? I just started the intake questionnaire. Is it too late? No, it's not too late. Why did you wait 17 months, though? That's my question, you spy. Why did you wait 17 months to apply? That's interesting. Behind the chat, our friend Minnesota was also phoned and asked if there's family still about it. Yeah, and following the greatest trustworthy reporter. Thank you, Donnie. Appreciate this. Very kind of you. Vikas Janssen van Furen. Thank you for your platoon leader membership. Wow, that's nice. It just started intake question. I already answered that question. You have legal custody. Then Sharon, I don't want to go into the details of your case. I'm sad to hear that you had to pull back your case if that's what you want to do. I'm confused by that. So I'm not sure why you did that, but I mean that's your prerogative. Engla Folk says, yesterday was our first 4th of July. It was incredible. Such an honor to live here. Well, where is your offer to do an interview? No, they didn't appeal, Charles. It says right there they can appeal. They cannot. They may have appealed, but their appeal wasn't heard. That's not in the rules. Sir Glenn Quagmire. No, there's no weather engineering. We just got hit with a heat dome. So Sedgefield's back. Very good. A friend who's not too bright got his letter from Nigerian embassy and listened to give him bank details. Good Lord. Oh my goodness. Nice if they send me to Denver, Colorado, says Denver. Aha, that's funny. If you refused, will you be able to get future visas? I can't answer the question, Kavan. Obviously, you're tuning in late. I've answered this question earlier in the stream. I cannot answer that question. Why cannot I answer that question? Because I don't know why you are ineligible. If you're ineligible for past criminal conduct, then the odds of you getting a visa to come to America are virtually nil. If you lied to investigators, then you're a liar. Your chances of coming here are nil because you'll tell us you come on a tourist visa and we know you're just an economic migrant, so you're going to be denied. So I can't answer that question. If I gave an example, if somebody in Gutter applied and they were determined to be ineligible because they live in Gutter, well, then that's not derogatory information. They'll just be able to apply for a visa again. BBS says, someone told me to lie about my past as teenager when I did my interview. There's no way I would ever do that. I was disappointed to hear that some refugees... Oh, no, some refugees clearly lie. Oh, look, there's some... Look, and this is not directed to people who got denial letters. I don't know if any of them are here. This is not directed at any of you, okay? Because I don't know your circumstances. But I do know people lied to U.S. immigration. And they got caught. And also we had fraudsters. Mr. Fundamental from last year, the guy who came to Centurion for my meet and greet and took a picture with me. And then he said, I don't know about Wyatt. I wasn't impressed. Well, good for you. I'm glad you're not impressed. Hit the road, Jack. He went to the screening place, and they knew about him because people dropped dimes on him. He was scamming people, and so he's ineligible. And I know that the FBI wants to question him. I don't know where he disappeared to, but they want to question him. The fact that someone told you to lie, shame on them. We don't want people like that in this country. Why would you lie? So how do people live with themselves when they cheat? I don't understand that. Yesterday at the VFW, we have a machine that you buy tickets, and for some reason, probably because it was hot and humid, the tickets for the 50-cent tickets were kicking out 2 for every 1 that you paid for. One of the guys sat down at the bar and started scratching the tickets, and then they went back and got another batch and went, wait a second. I would paid for 4, and I got 8. They told the bartender, who told me. That's honesty. How can you feel good about cheating people? But if you cheat people, we don't want you. Peter von Skalkvik says, my biological son, under my wife's name on the birth certificate, we have letters stating that my son will be traveling with me, and we have informed the program regarding the development. Well, that's all fine and dandy, Peter, but do you have custody of the child? And do you have a release letter from your wife? I'm confused. Is this a previous wife? I mean, if you're married and both you and your wife are listed in the birth certificate, it shouldn't be an issue. I'm confused. It's unfair to get 2 tickets and then be denied after because quitting your job is not a thing. How do you get a new job? Well, Red John, unless you were denied tickets, well, no, I'm not going to, that's not, so not Red John, I got Red. Red, you think it's unfair? Okay, it's unfair. Pull your application back. Don't come over. It is unfair. It's cold. It's life. There's nothing you can do about it. Thinking it's unfair isn't going to change the circumstances. Don't do things that make you ineligible. I got a case of somebody who committed a crime 25 years ago. An adult with a wife, 3 kids. Now, those 4 innocent people can't come to America because of the actions of that person 25 years ago, which were stupid. He made himself ineligible. So the only answer I have for that is if he truly loves his family and he's worried about their safety, then the spouse who's eligible should put in a case with the minor children, and she comes over and he stays in South Africa. Is that fair? No. But it would be effective. Anyway. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, thank you. That was brought up. Thank you. Elna mentioned that, yeah, if you refuse vaccines and get rejected, don't hate the system. Exactly. That's another. I forgot about that. We have arrogant asshats who went to the medical. I'm not getting vaccines. No. You can't make me a vaccine. You're right, we can't. So, footseck, you're not in the program. If you refuse to get vaccines, you're not coming over. Unless you had genuine religious grounds, and nobody's presented those yet to my knowledge. Well, who are we to demand vaccines? Well, we are the United States. And our Customs Immigration Service has the right to do that. Your Customs Immigration Service in South Africa forced me to waste $130 on a yellow fever vaccine when I was already vaccinated because it refused to accept my World Health Organization document. A scam. I had to get jabbed at OR Tambo in 2010 when I came back from Tanzania, even though I come through the same freaking entry point twice previously in the 6 weeks prior to that and saw the same useless home affairs turd at the diplomatic line. Yet I had to waste $130 getting a jab for something I was already jabbed for. And you know what? South Africa's a sovereign state, so I did it. Otherwise, I wasn't getting home to Botswana. Peter Thiel. I don't know what you're talking about. Curiosity Nuggets, been a long wait, but I finally got movement. Just wanted to share. Well, congratulations, Curiosity Nuggets. Okay. A lot of people said they were going to make up persecution. Exactly. Yep. Again, stupid people do stupid things. I told you, don't lie. An act of omission is an act of commission. Lying will get you denied. Lying is ineligibility. How many millions of times have I said that in the past 17 months? People do what they want to do. Vikas, thank you for the 50 Rand super chat. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for that. People do things at their own peril. Goddard gave Trump a plane, said it's gift and not for favors. Yeah, and? What's your point? Christina Malherba, welcome to you. 14 Rand, thank you for the super sticker. If you belong to groups promoting Northern European people with blonde hair and blue eyes, is that regarded as racist? Well, it depends what the content is. I'm not going to answer that question. I don't know what you wrote and what's in that group. Oh, there was a medical. Okay, Sharon, there's a medical thing. Does ineligibility extend to all forms of visa in the future? Oh, my goodness. I answered that question 5 minutes ago, and you're the one that asked it. I answered the question 5 minutes ago. Maybe I'm way behind the chat. So I've already answered your question 5 minutes ago. I must be behind the chat, and you've asked it again. I'm way behind the chat, so. You asked that at 2:40. It's, 16 minutes ago. So my apologies for that. But Kevin Reenan, I already answered your question. Spoken word, okay. You pay a lot of money if you want to take your pets with you. Exactly. The Safas want to and able to immigrate should do that. The refugee program are for most desperate among us. No, they're not for desperate. Nah, sis, stop. We don't want your poor. We don't want your poor. This isn't for desperate. Why do people think refugees are for poor people? Refugees aren't poor people. We'll take your billionaires if they're being persecuted. It has nothing to do with desperate people. No, it has to be people being persecuted. See, once again, Sir Glenn Quagmire, we've got to dispel this bullshit right there. A refugee is not someone who's rich. It's not someone who's poor. It's someone who's being persecuted. Done and dusted. Rich people are persecuted. Politicians are persecuted. Poor people are persecuted. No. This is not about desperate. You're desperate, don't come. Because you're not being persecuted. You just can't succeed in society. We don't need losers. We need people. We don't need anybody. We're taking care of people who are being persecuted. You still understand what further review means. I don't understand what your question is, Sigi. You don't get your shots again if you have we are not demanding like South Africa's crazy medical system when you show them evidence you've had a vaccination, which is good for 10 years, and you had it 4 years ago. We don't make you get it again. South African officials make you do that because it's corrupt. They should give you a reason. Nope. So Glenn Quagmire, obviously you didn't watch my 2-hour and 51-minute broadcast. They should not give you a reason. All they do is open themselves up to potential frivolous lawsuits. Nope. You're ineligible. You're ineligible. Simple as that. Cold. True, but they have no obligation to tell you. And it's always been that way. It's always been that way. It's never been changed. From the very beginning, that was the case. Sir Glenn Quagmire says, pets are our kids. Well, then, cough up the 60,000 Rand per pet to send them over. Wasn't everyone told? Well, they were told by me. They may have been told by false prophets to lie, but not by me. I applied March 25, was forgotten until December 25. Complete everything February. Since then, under review. Okay, Cobus. I don't have an answer for you. Can sons of refugees seeking military service experience sign up in America? Well, a son of a refugee is a refugee. I mean, your question's so open-ended, Smoke Call, I can't possibly answer. You talking about South Africans who are adults of those who've come to America as refugees but still live in South Africa? Or if they've come to America and they're the offspring sons. By the way, we have women in the military. Can the offspring of refugees that are here go to military? If they have a green card and they're of age, yes. And they meet standards. No, the bison's not wearing headphones. That's his horns. His horns, instead of being white, are black. It's not headphones. Yep, Karen Silliers said medicals expired in June, redid medicals, arrived in California 4 days. Congratulations, Karen. Yeah, you mentioned Nicole Feldman. That's a piece of work. Was part of Ped X trans meetings once. Let's just say she's a cock prodder of note and so malicious in her thinking. Yep, Neff, you're right. Western Cape is best. Come visit me, Colonel. Walmart, Lisa. Okay. Wait, do you have to pay them, send money? I have no idea what you're talking about. That's not even a sentence, man. I can't even make sense of that, Red. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I worked for 45 years and I never had to do estimated payments because I had a job that paid taxes in, and I was able to meet my tax obligations that way. Since I've retired, I'm self-employed and my income doesn't pay taxes. I don't have an employer who pays my Social Security, my Medicare, Medicaid tax, and my portion of it, or my income tax when I get paid. So I have to pay that myself, and you do it in estimated payments. If you open a company by yourself, I assume you still need an EAD to work at your company. Nope. Don't need an EAD to work at your company. You don't need an EAD to work in America if you're a refugee. You don't. An employer can ask for one, and it's their prerogative. But the moment you arrive, I've covered this. The moment you arrive in America, you're legally authorized to work. You don't need an EAD. But many employers ask to see it, and they won't hire you without it. And that's their prerogative. That is their prerogative. No, Mike, I love Pretoria. Andrea Jackson, can I get something off my chest? Okay, everyone who went for an interview signed NDA, yet people stayed on Facebook, dates they applied, interviews, medicals. Exactly. You're welcome to get that off your chest, Andrea Jackson. What did I say when I started seeing this stuff appear? Stop. Cease and desist. You will make yourself ineligible. That's what I said. September, October, November, December, January. When people were doing that stupid stuff, I said, stop. Stop telling people where the interviews are. Stop telling people what you're doing. Stop. And guess what? They don't listen to me. Some of them got denial letters. Anine Jones, those who are already in the USA, how long after your travel stage in progress did you receive tickets? Anine Jones, you're trying to put a timeline. Thank you for CPM Haoteng. CPM is Haoteng. Thank you for the 35 Rand. You're trying to put a timeline. Stop. Cease and desist. Anine, cease and desist. There's 7,000 people in America, okay? Let's just do a poll and see how many people here, or see how many people are still watching. Refugee, are you okay? We're going to poll here in a second. Okay, so you got lots of options here. This should cover everybody. Either you're not a refugee, or a refugee that's arrived in the USA, or a refugee aspirant in South Africa, or you got a denial letter. So that's a pretty full poll right there. Can we make Colonel change his mind between the two of us, says Marley. Are you a young, sexy Bornweisy? Maybe you can change mine. Actually, being in the USA after 17 months still feels unreal. I have to pinch myself. There you go. So, Karen, you put in a PRM email last year, and you just got here 17 months later. Is that correct, based on what you're stating there? Charles said, thank you. Colonel Chris, if you're truthful from the beginning about your past and tell us everything, it will not be a problem. But if you lie, you'll be declined. Yep. Mark van Niekerk, hello to you. Niki's doing the pre-screening. Maybe this has been asked already, but don't you think the people in admin hold are just waiting for denials? Nope, because there's people in America who are here, and their portal says awaiting admin hold. There are people who are getting interviews, and it says admin hold. Could be. But so many people have admin hold, it can't possibly be for denial letters. Reference premise is to be taken seriously. Here's how I see it. It's a different country with its own rules. Lying to them is a bad start. Exactly. South Africa is rotten and dangerous. And bringing your rotten, dangerous conduct to America is not something that America wants. Colonel, are you only interviewing people who have been already accepting you? By and large, B.A.B., yes. I've had 2 exceptions to that. 3. The first was Thea van Straten. The first interview ever done with a refugee was done before any refugees arrived in America on the 11th or 10th, whatever that Sunday was of May last year in Pretoria East. I interviewed Thea, but I held the interview until I confirmed from 2 independent sources she had arrived in America. Once I confirmed that the 59ers arrived, I released a video. I was in Somerset West when that happened. I was actually at a robot next to a petrol station when I got the second confirmation, and I had the video queued up and I made it public. And then 250,000 people watched it. So that was the first exception. That was a one-off because of what was happening. The second interview was with a refugee who was in this so-called September-October group, which doesn't exist, who said that it's unfair, and he was insistent to do an interview. We agreed to talk not about his process, but about how he thinks it's unfair. So I did that one. That was an exception. The third interview I did was with the Freedom Front Plus member who was announced in the press that he applied for a refugee program, and he had no problem telling people. So I had him on, but then he said some things in other programs that made me wonder why I had him on, although he was a good interview on my channel. So anyway, so I don't generally interview people because I don't want to endanger your safety. I don't want to endanger your future. I don't want to endanger your job. It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing to be gained from that. Your boy watched a rugby game, USA versus Australia, and said, Mom, they need us. He wants to join U.S. rugby team. When do we play Australia? Thank you. My travel was in progress for roughly 2 to 3 weeks before I got my ticket. There you go. Cape Town is much better than Pretoria. You always keep... I've been to Monenberg. I've been to Khayelitsha. I've been to Mitchell's Plains. And I would argue that Cape Town isn't better than Pretoria. Soshanguve is far removed from Pretoria, so I don't have to worry about that. No caps unless you're Hendo. Johan Herbla, my brother is in Buffalo. He must go to improve yourself there. You want to be okay. And Mike says, if Pretoria had a C, it would be the best city in the world. Yeah, I don't know about the best rugby team, Mike. How can you say that in Ellsbrook? Aren't you a Pumas fan? What did Mr. Fundam ever do? Steal money? Yes, he had a scam going on. Do you not know about this? Andrea, do you not know about Mr. Fundam ever scam? He scammed people out of hundreds of thousands of rand last year. This clown, who's an Afrikaner from the outset with this program, when people were desperate to find out what's going on, said, hey, I think he was using Facebook. I can't say for sure, but he's like, hey, listen, I can get you on a list. He said, I can get you on a list. You'll be the first ones to go over. I have contacts. We're getting a list together. We're going to put the first group together. We're going to be the first refugees to go over. And South Africans, so clueless, so gullible. I heard about that and I saw it without mentioning by name because I didn't know who he was or what he was. I just said, look, there's someone out there telling you that they can put you on a list. There's no such thing. No South African can put you on a list to go over. No American can put you on a list to go over. It doesn't work that way. Do not give money to people. The program is free. I told people from the very outset, you pay nothing. We pay for the medicals. The IOM pays for your travel. We reimburse them later on. We pay for all the interviews. We pay for everything, the processing. You pay nothing to become a refugee. You apply, no charge. Nothing to get on a list. And people still did it. One lady who watched my program didn't believe me. You know why? Because my name is not Dutoy. My name is not Naudia. My name is Wyatt. So, well, okay, I'll listen to the Fundam ever. And she had the honesty, and I thank her for that, to come to me months later and say, you know what, Colonel Wyatt? I'm embarrassed. I gave that scam artist 50,000 Rand to get on the list, and I'm still here. I really appreciate that lady coming forward and telling me that. But I warned people. But because my name isn't Naudier or Rousseau or Schmidt or something like that, South Africans, man, Afrikaans, he's the guy. No, he was a scam artist, and he defrauded people out of so much money. The FBI wants him. I don't know if the South Africans ever take action against him. Do you have more information about the psychiatric evaluation? I did mine 2 months ago. No, I don't know people who had psychiatric evaluation. Bajan, Casey. I don't know. I know nothing about psychiatric evaluations. Sorry, I wish I did. Well, feel free, move to Canada. It's not so easy. I have a valid visa. I had to come to the USA for work. It has expired. No, it won't affect you. I mean, if you have a visa, that actually works in your favor. I mean, you got a visa. I mean, it should make it easier to investigate your case, but doesn't mean there isn't something in your background. Did you hear that OR is calling refugees in states? Yes, I have heard, Vimpy. You came in late to the broadcast. We've talked about that several times in the last hour and 8 minutes. Lewis assisted me this morning regarding the situation in California. Okay, Karen. It's pouring with rain in Indiana. Well, good. We could use the rain here. Many years ago, an ATM paid me out the wrong bills, and I went to the bank to give the money back because other people will lose money. They thanked me. Well, that was nice to let you keep 100 Rand, Pistons. Should they pick up any bent jeans? Forget going to USA and well, stay indoors. A case where South Africans want American visa. No idea what you're talking about there, Durbin. Don't like vax, but for the sake of the program, I'd rather take a chance to jab than stay. Yep. Vaccines won't kill you, so really, exactly. Would admitting to past drug use delay your case because let's follow up with your list? Paul's family, that's a fair question. It's been asked many times, but it's a very fair question, particularly in light of the inadmissibility letters or ineligible letters. Thank you, Luminous, for subscribing, and Christopher Hitchens. Could it make you, it will delay things, of course, potentially, but delay, I mean, what, a few days, a few weeks? Who knows? And if it's something minor that's a long time ago, they're probably not going to put much time into it. But being honest and forthright when they ask you the question is what matters. Because if they do come across something, they interview somebody you know and say, oh, yeah, we used to smoke Daga together all the time. Then they're going to dig deeper. Well, if you've been not selling it or being, if you, so the thing about drugs is that people use them habitually are a problem. That's a problem. That's who they're not letting in. Would admitting to past drug use affect your family or affect your case? Not admitting to it will affect your case if they find out about it. That's for damn sure. Great cloud cover in Houston. Okay, good, Virtual Western Cape. It's hard to keep track where everybody's at. I'm trying, but there's so many of you over here now. I'm way behind in chat again, trying to catch up. Okay, some guy at the MNRA vaccine 100 times. Well, they're idiots. Why would they do that? Soon to be my new home. Hey, Christy, how's it going? Thank you for the 14 Rand. CR Waith Photography. Your information always makes sense. Love your show. Well, thank you so much for the 70 Rand. It does. But I have detractors and defamers and slanderers who attack me, so they still lie. Yep, and people still lie, Johan. Yep, America is truly beautiful, guys. The place is next level. When you come, you'll be blown away. Thank you, Heinrich, and it is. Andre says, relax, people. It's childhood vaccine, not COVID stuff. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, you don't need COVID vaccine to come to America. So if you don't want the vaccine, then just forget about your chances. You're ineligible. Do we have to take the COVID vaccine? No, okay. No, you don't. No. No one's taken the COVID vaccine since 2022. It's not required for entry into America. We're all vaccinated by the USA. We had 3 vaccines, one of them 3 different types. Yeah, well, you had MMR, measles, mumps, rubella, MMR. It's a childhood vaccine. And trust me, you don't want measles. You don't want mumps. You don't want rubella, especially as an adult. Can your daughter's son already in America help get... No. Asking in general. If you've been denied, God's girl, I can't answer that question. I don't know why you were denied. The denial... The ineligibility may be a reason you can't come to America. You guys are asking impossible questions. Reality is, for some people, this program was a lifeline. Well, it's not a lifeline. It's supposed to be a way to save people, save them from persecution. There are no COVID vaccines. Thank you, Spook. Denver says, my wife has burst out laughing foot sec. I'm going to have to do a foot sec song. I'm going to have to do it, but I got to somehow figure out how to put the pronunciation down. Otherwise, people will laugh at it. I'll advocate for the truth. I'm not poor, and I'm leaving because South is dangerous. There you go, Vander. That's the bottom line. Yeah, okay, but desperate to get out. Gotcha, Sir Glenn Quagmire. But desperate to get out sounds like you meant people were just poor. And that's important to make that distinction, because I have people who are poor complain, well, how come the rich people get to go? Because they're being persecuted. I think that those on Admin Hold, they have documents must be uploaded. It's a lot of reasons. It's also because information waiting to come in for investigation isn't complete. I had the vaccine now. I have 4 eyes, 3 arms. Everything went fine. Why would medical still show in progress months after completing all with no hassles? I've since done 2 rounds. Still shows. Because someone hasn't updated, Kevin. You got, Mad Max came here and it said he's still in progress. But he's already been in America for 4 months. Mustard Olive, welcome to you. Yassine Desmondia, welcome to you. Samira Vibe Music, as Professor G said, maybe they'll reopen the ROR again. No, there's no indication they're going to do that. And you think they're going to do it, given all the conspiracy theories that are being formulated now and all the people demanding answers? It seems less likely to me they're going to open it up. If people hadn't whined so much about it being unfair, people who weren't even denied, they might have taken a look at it, but I don't think they'll look at it. Nicholas Murray says, are you aware of cases where families have not gone for the interviews or been accepted but have gone for their medicals? Are you telling me, okay, I'm not aware of a single case where someone hasn't been screened and did medicals. You have to be screened first. You've already been contacted by RSC. You've been contacted. I'm aware of some cases where people have been contacted and there was a vacancy for medicals, so they sent them for medicals, if that's what you're asking, yes. Russell, my question is, I applied for a program I'm in USA now working in. On pause till I'm back in November. Arrested 13 years ago. Case dismissed. Was found not guilty. Okay, but there's no question there. That's a statement, Russell. You didn't ask a question. So I'm going to have to be Senior von Rensburg, Senior von Wyatt. Okay, I think what Russell's saying is that he's in America on an H-2A visa, and he was arrested 13 years ago. Does that mean he will not be eligible? I don't think so. What were we arrested for? Don't answer the question. I don't want you to expose yourself. We arrested for armed robbery, drug trafficking, human slavery, pedophilia. If you were arrested and was dismissed and you have the paperwork and you have police clearance, then it probably won't be an issue. But you're going to have to be in South Africa when it's time to come over. You can't do it from the U.S. Seems like a waste of funding if not approved. Oh, Nicholas, quite the opposite, brother. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. And this is not directed at any South Africans, so don't infer this. I'm not implying it, but I'm giving you the U.S. government's response. Every penny spent on this is worth it. We should not bring riffraff, liars, criminals, and dangerous people to America. And this is the cost of screening these people to come over. That would be the U.S. government answer. There's no money wasted here. Oh, I did my medicals 3 times. Try going to the Dadaab camp in Kenya. Talk to the Somalis who've done 10 medicals over the past 6 years. It's not a waste of funds. And besides, it's not your funding to worry about. Not a refugee immigrant. So there are ways to reduce the cost of getting pets over, but it takes loads. No, there aren't. No, there aren't. You're not going to get a pet from South Africa over here for less than 30 to 50,000 rand. It ain't going to happen. Do you think the airline's going to fly them for free? Do you think the titer test is just going to be done for free? Do you think there are fixed costs in this? You can't reduce it. It's not cheap. Pity the fool who thought he could lie about anything to Homeland Security. Yep, bitter ender. If you have any sense of humor and decency, you will not lie or need to. Exactly, Arnie. We went for our medical 2 months ago before USC interview. Most people I know had their medical before the interview. Oh, yeah, but after your screening. Why is there so much arguing with this refugee program? There's no arguing. I'm not arguing. Because South Africans are argumentative. That's why. And because some South Africans will believe anything. If it answers their predefined view of something, how things are, they'll believe anything. Some South Africans will believe anything they're told. Some Americans are the same way. Know if someone who's in the same situation, medical situation can take time. U.S. partners deal with these. Okay. No, all clear was good. I have the letter and results, but portal, my case shows in progress. Okay. All right. Sounds like you're in good shape there, Kevin. I-94 is your passport, says you can work legally. Correct. But your prospective employer can ask to protect themselves against hiring illegals. It is on your passport. Yes, I know that, Debbie. I know it's on your passport, but that has been insufficient for some employers, and they have a prerogative. They're allowed to ask for your card. Yep. Please play some music, Cecilia. I will. Thank you for 35 Rand for your first super chat sticker there. CPMS Gaming, Gauteng. Sharon says, true. Happy 4th. Thank you, Detlef Muller. Haven't seen you in a while. Vehicles, congrats to Moinoi. Okay. Jumping ahead. It's true. When I said you signed notice of discretion, I was told no, it's only for U.S. processing information. Yep, exactly. Yeah, you can talk about other things. In my interviews, I ask all kinds of things, none of which violate your non-disclosure agreement. If anyone asks questions about your program, refer them to Colonel Wyatt. Okay. This program is my family's lifeline. Karen Rabe says, I've heard other people in the USA who are talking about being contacted regarding family. It sounds legit. It is legit, Karen. It is legit. What is their goal? ORR is trying to get people over here. USCS, the one doesn't. Colonel's looking for a young Bornmeisi. I'm not looking for anything. I just asked a question. My biggest fear applying before, what if you end up in the blue state? Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sir Glenn Quagmire, I'm coming after you now. Get ready. Okay. Seriously. A blue state, a red state. So you would prefer to live in Mitchell's Plains than in New York. Seriously. Come on. You would prefer to live in Alexandria as opposed to living in California. Come on. And come on. Anything is better than freaking somewhere some people are dealing with in South Africa. Sangria, welcome to you. Adrian says, good evening. Working tomorrow, busy week. Okay, cool. Our portal says new and has said new since we started, but we've had 3 interviews, medicals. Exactly. Don't trust the portal at all. The portal is a waste of your time. Go by what they tell you in the emails. They tell you where your case is. Exactly. So you can forget the portal. How does Canada make the extreme form of immigration work? What do you mean extreme form of immigration? Canadians only want people who are professionals. They get away with this huggy, cuddly teddy bear approach to immigration, and they're not cuddly. The Canadians only want people with skills. I've answered what an admin hold is. Why do people not pay attention? There are many Burmeises in Iran. I don't know. Okay, now I understand why Tom Buku is asking all these strange questions. Have you been to South Africa? Are you serious? Are you serious? Have I been to South Africa? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Million times. Email a week ago. No, Denise, I didn't see it. Are you aware of the case where families not gone for the interviews? I answered that question just a minute ago. When I get there, you can interview me, but definitely have a face for radio. That's okay, Pistons. We've been painfully honest about our colorful youth and haven't received a denial letter. Okay. It wasn't clear. Do you see that in the My Case portal? Okay. But the My Case portal is for the internal use and should never be made visible. Exactly, Anine. That's exactly what I said all along. It's internal use. They never should have made it visible to applicants because it just causes problems. Yeah. Mike says, Timbuktu, you must be new to the Colonel. Have you been to South many times, worked 16 African countries? I've worked in 40 African countries. I've lived in 8. Tunisia, Liberia, Botswana, Malawi, Niger, Mauritania, Uganda, Ethiopia. Yeah, I've lived in 8 African countries. I've worked in 40. Lucky Fundamental didn't catch me out the way of Louis Liebenberg. Yes, you're right, Karen. Sharon says we believe it. Not really gullible, but fearful. No, gullible. No, Sir Glenn Quagmire. Look at all the people that listen to Scott Balson. All the bullshit that Scott Balson spread about people, all the lies he said. People, remember the video? For my old-time viewers, remember the video? We have the proof! The so-called colonel works for the CIA! Now, it's possible I worked for the CIA. I don't, but it's possible. But if you have the proof, prove it. You know what he proved? He went... Let me see if it's still up on the web. Energy in Africa, Wyatt. Let me see if that's still up there. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Energy in Africa conference. Okay, so this is the proof he found. He thought he was a great investigative journalist, and he smeared me, slandered me, and defamed me with lies. Okay, so again, if you got evidence I work for the CIA, please produce it for me because I'm going to ask for my back pay. But this is what he used to show that I work for the CIA because he's a dumbass. And this is what gullible South Africans believed. People actually believe this bullshit. In fact, I lost an interview with a dim-witted former DA member of the council in Mossel Bay who defected to Freedom Front Plus, and we had an interview, and 15 minutes for the interview, she said, I can't do the interview. Why? You work for the CIA. I'm like, what? Because she's dimwitted and listened to that fool, Scott Balson, and his sycophants. But here you go, folks. This is what he found. And now on his stream, he covered this up. See this up here? He covered that up where it's in blue. He hid that. He blacked that out on the screenshot, and he hid where the location was so nobody could find this. Colonel Chris Wyatt's Director of African Studies at the United States Army War College. He received his commission as military intelligence officer from Ohio University in 89. He's a graduate military intelligence officer, basic course, advanced course, yada, 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 yada. So we get down here, and he finds, where's it at? He could have gone with National Security Agency, but he didn't go with that. He went down here. Here we go. Oh, all right. Office of, this is what he highlighted. See, Security Cooperation Liberia. He said that proves that I'm a CIA security officer. That was his proof. Unlike the demented lunatic who wears bathrobes, who produces no proof whatsoever for all the false claims and the defamation of my character, this is at least he made an effort to provide proof. But that's not proof. Do you know where that biography came from? Me. I gave it to the conference, the Energy in Africa conference in 2018. But that was his proof. There's some really stupid people out there. Unbelievable. So yes, there are gullible people. Where the case or family's gone. Okay, why was the same thing keep coming up? A slent is a scam. I didn't know that, Vilma. Thank you. Charleston had a big storm. Okay, well, we could use some cooling down here. That's for darn sure. How are we doing on the poll? Let me take a look. See, 75% of refugee aspirants, 9% are in the USA, 4% got a denial letter. Again, that's why I've said I am not attacking anybody who got a denial letter here. So 4%. That means that in this conversation right now, 20 people at least had denial letters. My heart goes out to you, folks. My heart goes out to you. And if you don't know why, then you don't know why. But many of the people know why they're denied. They just couldn't admit it to themselves. Can being a public activist be a reason? It can be. Depends what you're an activist for. If you're an activist to murder, kill foreign nationals, that'll affect it, yeah. If you are trying to, incite vigilantes to go after illegal aliens in South Africa, yeah, that'll affect it, yep. South Africa does get as hot as here. Try going to Karoo. It's pretty hot there. Just curious, maybe I missed it. If you have a vehicle speeding fines in your name, it could affect your case. I mean, Hendrick, if you get one consistently all the time, it shows you're unreliable. But generally speaking, it shouldn't be an issue. Just admit to it when asked. Works for CIA, use Windows 10 as crazy internet and drives and banged up pickup. Yeah, exactly. Zander, thank you for the 100 Rand. Thank you so much for that. Kelly Morrow in Mpumalanga reached 40 degrees. So there you go. Mpumalanga, 40 degrees. That's what it was here. It was 40 degrees a couple days ago. CIA will hit the guy with energy weapon. Stay in Brits and get 110. Ooh, I've never seen that hot in Brits. Okay. Maun in Botswana is 56. I've been to Maun, but never for that hot. I usually go in the wintertime, Maun. Jade Caprice Govinder. Sounds very Indian there. My stepdad is a permanent resident of South Africa for 20 years. Can he apply? He's from India. No, he's not a South African. You have to be a South African national. Could you also tell me if there's an age restriction? No age restriction. No age restriction, Jade. If he's a South African citizen, he can apply. But if he's not a South African, he's just living there, a permanent residency, you got to be a South African. Got to be a South African national. But age doesn't matter. There's no age restriction. We got an 89-year-old go-go who came over in Texas. Yep. Debbie was laughing about something. Okay. Hey, Angelique, you are late. Unclassified files reveal it all. Still waiting for the JFK files. Okay. Yeah, for the flat earth people, his son is in Africa. Yep. Okay. No age restriction. If your dad's given us any citizenship. Well, he has to have South African citizenship, Matthew. Waving Hunter says, you're ignoring me. Fine. Shall I post a question for SG? I'm not ignoring you. Who the hell are you and why are you being so disrespectful and rude? I will ignore you from this point forward. You're going to be an ass. What? Oh, me. Over here. My attention. Come to me. Who the hell are you? You see your freaking comment. The first time I see your comment, you're being rude to me. Good God. Waving Hunter. Well, hey, Waving Hunter, why are you rude, disrespectful? A toothless wonder. It's going to be interesting to see the percentage of arrivals versus denials on the poll. Actually, I think the sun is close to South Africa. It could be. If you fail to pay your traffic fine, your court date expires, they usually issue a warrant. Well, see, there you go. There you go. If you're not here already, I hope you get here soon. Afrikaners, wonderful people. Kelly Morrow says. So where's he at? Did you leave? Are you here, Waving Hunter? What's your question? What's your question, Waving Hunter? I'm not ignoring. Why do people do that? I'm ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. Ask your question. You weren't even in my chat. I just saw it for the first time. Your grandmother what? A trading station in Maui. Oh, wow, Timbuktu. That's interesting. Okay, so. I know. Some of the comments are ridiculous. Like, everybody thinks I'm ignoring. I'm not ignoring anybody. That's the most ridiculous comment. Not a single person on YouTube engaged their audience the way I do and as in-depth as I do. I always get this. You're ignoring me. And he's not the first person, or she, whoever that is. Not the first person. You're ignoring me. I'm not ignoring anybody. Good God. Yeah, the Secret Agent song. That's time for that. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the poll. I'm curious to see the poll now. Do the numbers. Okay, so 486 people here. So we had 394 votes. Oh, I overstated the denials. It's actually 12 people, not 20. Okay, so you just told me I'm ignoring you. You're going to send the question to Professor G. Now you're telling me you're going to give me the question you already gave Professor G. Come on, man. Keep the story straight. Okay, so 394 people, 10% are in the U.S., okay? So that means that there's about 40 people here in the U.S. I got 400 votes. So 40 are in the U.S., and 16 got denial letters. That's interesting. But this is not a representative audience. We did that the other day, and it was very representative. It was 7%. 7% were denials. We had 1,800 votes on that. Sir Glenn I'm reading too many of Glenn Quagmire's comments. Yeah, I am reading a lot of your comments. Karen says, we're here in Denver. We arrived 2 months ago, and the U.S. has been very good to us. Cool. Okay. All right. Okay, Waving Hunter, I don't see your question. I don't see your question. You said you were going to give me a question. I don't see it. Where's the question? Anyway, so let me show you a few things about denial letters, okay? I have to keep an eye out looking for that. Will I get denied if I was arrested for drug possession, my case was dismissed and found not guilty, I had to go to rehab and all tests was negative? I'll tell you how you will get denied, Russell. I'll tell you, you want to know how you're, I'll guarantee you 100%. You want to know how you're going to get denied? You ready for this? Are you ready for this, Russell? We're going to go back, or we're going to go forward whenever USCIS interview is. I'm the USCIS agent, okay? So, Mr. Russell, have you ever been arrested or convicted of a crime in South Africa? No. Ooh, you're going to get denied. Have you ever been arrested or convicted of a crime in South Africa? Yes. But it was dismissed. I wasn't guilty. Oh, okay. The question being asked, in almost all circumstances, the interviewer knows the answer. This is why lying is stupid. This is why lying is stupid. I can tell you, this is why I don't understand why people don't listen to me. I am a federal law enforcement official, a counterintelligence agent who conducted background investigations on people with top secret security clearances. Almost every time I talk to someone, I know the answer to the question before I ask it. Sometimes I might need more detail or see it from their perspective. Lying is not sound. Russell, I'm not accusing you of lying. I'm not saying you would lie. I'm just saying that you want to get denied, then you go ahead and tell them that you were never arrested when you have been arrested. And you will get denied. Like the gentleman who had an expunged record. He thought, well, I've never been arrested. Well, you were arrested, so you lied. But it was expunged. But the arrest wasn't expunged. You were still arrested. Even if it was unjust or invalid, you were arrested. It doesn't mean you're a criminal. It just means the authorities arrested you. And in his case, he was convicted. So he was a criminal. But then, I guess probably because he's youthful, it got expunged. But that doesn't absolve the crime or make the arrest disappear. And when they search for it, they're going to find it. Oh, yeah, no, hey, Spook, the 1776 report is brilliant, but the leftists hate it. Okay, so Russell, does that help you out? I hope that helps you out, okay? Okay, there's Waving Hunter's question. Okay, so on the backbone denial letters, or rather letter of ineligibility, yeah, that's correct term, yeah. So would the following person then be deported and his status be revoked? Huh? Okay, you're asking a question about Lawrence McDonald. Why would Lawrence McDonald be removed? I'm trying to understand, Waving Hunter. Why would Lawrence McDonald be removed? Do you know something none of the rest of us know? James says, I'm going to ask this question. I will be the new Fonz. Okay, what's the question? Oh, will being a Shark supporter count against you? No, you'll survive. Hey, Dan, what's up? I looked at jobs that require security clearance. How hard would it be to get one before I apply for the job? You won't get a security clearance before you apply for the job. They'll make an assessment whether it's worth hiring you. Someone with a security clearance will probably have an advantage. But if you need a security clearance from the federal government, a secret security clearance is not that hard. All it requires is a favorable background check and a national database check. That's it. Top secret clearance involves interviews and involves deeper background checks and could involve polygraphs, but rarely involves a polygraph. Okay? Okay. Do the Five Eyes nations share information after interviews? Not to my knowledge, Peter. Not to my knowledge. But the Five Guys nations and all nations world share information on immigration and entry into countries, which is different than refugee status. Yep, an act of omission is an act of commission. I've said it over and over again. Okay, so Lawrence McDonald, you made it abundantly clear that the law applies, especially when it comes to refugee program. One of those is that you may not have been part of a terror. Okay, all right. Okay, see, the problem you have here with that statement, Waving Hunter, is you're just you're throwing generalities out there. The African National Congress is not considered a terrorist organization since the early 1990s. So what do you mean? Was Lawrence McDonald part of Mkomatoi way? Do you have some sort of evidence of that? Being a member of the African National Congress, which is a political party, doesn't make you a terrorist. You may think so, but it doesn't make you a terrorist. Reapplying if you're asked, did you apply before? Say yes. No, don't waste people's time. So you talking about someone who got denied last domino? If you reapply, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not getting anywhere. It's going to be shut down. You're wasting people's time. Could I ask a question? Our linguist is called about us still hearing you say they filled info in an email received from them. No, it won't speed anything up. So we're just trying to get clarification, that's all. Don't lie, guys. Exactly. Okay. Karen says, I was very naughty in my 20s and got into some trouble. I was honest, even took paperwork to meet the interview here in the U.S. for 4 days. Exactly. Karen, what have I said all along? Tell the truth. Melanie says, Leka slap. Okay. Notice that on the refugee WhatsApp group, there's a notice that if people have been denied, they should ring a U.S. number. No. Well, then, okay, first off, stop snippets. The refugee, there is no the refugee group. See, you're in groups you shouldn't be in. I told you not to go there. There is no such thing in my refugee group. If Hendo posted that, I'm going to smack him upside the head. He's going to get a PK. Only Hendo and I can post to my refugee groups. No one else can post, so you didn't get that from mine. And if you did, then I'm going to smack Hendo. So the solution from people in South Africa is to call a number in the U.S. to be told you're not coming over. Wasting the time of people who should be working on cases. Yeah, that's very selfish. Did you, by chance, find out if I have to become my 18-year-old? What? Farmer Calvin says, did you, by chance, find out if I have to become my 18-year-old son of Earl's son's guardian? No, Calvin, okay, I answered that question previously on another stream. Was it you that asked the question? I don't recall who asked the question, but I answered it. Normally, an 18-year-old is an adult, but in the case of South Africa, they've been allowing for refugees, people who have 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds living in the household, to put them on their group, and they come over with them. We've got cases of that. I got cases of 18-year-olds coming over here with, Levi is 18. She came over in the same case with her parents because she lived at home. Bruce, the service dog. So he's 18. Put him on your case. So, I guess they're considering that be, minor. So, but that's not normally the way it's done. But that's how it's been working in South Africa. First organization yet the United States officially designated African as a terrorist organization in 1988 when the State Department was placed a group. So you want to hear what you want to hear, Waving Hunter. I've answered the question. I don't give a flying flip if the ANC was designated a terrorist group in 1988. They're not a terrorist organization now, according to the U.S. government, and haven't been for a long time. So it's a moot point. Why are you going on about that? You're just bum hurt that Lawrence McDonald's here? I can't help you with that. Trevor says, after my demise, your honesty, you've always told the truth. Yeah, it's always been fair to people too, but not everybody agrees. Here you go. We got quotes from 170,000 down to 80 to fly 3 dogs over. 80,000, that's cheap for 3 dogs. That's just under 10,000 Rand per dog. Well, that's not bad actually. So 10,000 Rand is going to be about $1,300 per pet. That's actually not bad. So that's still $4,000. $4,000 to send 3 dogs over. But that's the start of it. You can't bring them with you. They're not on the flight with you. So they're going to come over after, which means they have to house them somewhere, and they're going to have to be with a kennel before you leave. So you're going to have kennel costs in South Africa. Now, if that's part of the quote, okay, great. But then they're going to arrive in America. You're going to have to kennel them here. You don't have a house. You don't have an apartment. And if you get one, you don't even know if you can have dogs there. And I don't know any apartments that let people have 3 dogs. So, the Castle Rail Yard. First time on this live. I watched all your other lives, videos, and shorts. Just want to thank you for all your effort. You're welcome, the Castle Rail. Thank you for being here. It's very kind of you. What made you tune in tonight? Interesting. The Castle Rail. That's a pretty cool username. If you had an accident, you don't have a license, can you get denied? Okay, that's a question I can't possibly answer. Why don't you have a license? Was your license removed because you were irresponsible or you were at fault? You could be denied. Were you drunk? See, people don't tell me all the facts. And then what will happen if I don't ask these subsequent questions? People are like, well, Colonel said you could do this. Nah, I never said that. You're not giving me the full scenario. Were you in a traffic accident and as a consequence lost your license? Did you commit negligent homicide? Did you commit manslaughter? Did you kill somebody? Did you cripple somebody? Or did you just run into a pole and they took your license away because you're not a good driver? There you go. Hetty Ann McCartney said 20-year-old came over in the case. So I think in the case of Farmer Calvin, that's going to be the case. Spook said, oh my word, who taught the Colonel the PK word? Spook, you'd be surprised at what I know about Afrikaans. And Heinrich said my 19-year-old came over. So there you go. Farmer Calvin, I think that's your answer in the case of South Africa. UCS told us what happened, and they said we must reapply. Rita, hey, send me a note. You were heartbroken. You got a denial letter, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Don't answer that here. Send me a note in WhatsApp. I thought you sent me a note, Rich WhatsApp, and you got a denial letter. Okay. Dismissal, just can't remember if said yes or no to the question. Okay. Evening, Colonel Lawrence Duplessis. Thanks for what you've done or still doing. Well, I've received my denial letter. I know why. Okay, Lawrence. In your case, here's some advice. Take it or leave it. In your case, Lawrence, I don't know why you were the primary applicant. Did you not understand the process? I'm not picking a bone with you. I'm not throwing stones to you. But you're not eligible. You're not a South African. I've said that a million times on this program. I know I didn't really say it a million times. Only about 853,000. You have a safe haven, Namibia. You might not think it's safe haven, but the U.S. government sees it that way. If your wife is a South African citizen, why wasn't she the primary applicant? And since you are ineligible, which is true, I would submit another intake questionnaire with her as the primary applicant. The Stolze family's here. There's other people here with a safe haven passport, but they didn't apply. They didn't apply. Werner Stolze did not apply. Naomi did. She's the qualified person, and they're here. Lawrence, are you tracking, brother? Are you with me? Do you think that's bad advice? I think that's sound advice. Ask if we've been to Canada, USA, for a year each. How long? What? How long can my security checks take? Hubby security. I have no idea what you're saying, Faith, part of the waves. I have no idea. What does that mean? The USCS asks you if you spent a year in UK, France. Did you spend a year in those places? I don't understand that. And who else we got here? Did South African Communist Party go as terrorist organization? Not to my knowledge, Peter. Being communist doesn't make you a terrorist. It used to prevent you from going in the army in America. You couldn't go in the military if you were a communist. They've changed that. It's not about what you lie about. It's not about, is that you lied. Exactly. Thank you, Happy Chappy. It speaks to your character. It doesn't matter if it's a white lie or if it's, covering up a homicide. A liar's a liar. Had a big scare on Friday. Police van pulled up next to me while walking, flashing lights. I stopped. He walked up right past me and photographed a business. Okay. Waving Hunter. Nope, I didn't go on about it. I asked your thoughts. And thank you, sir. Okay, Waving Hunter. No, I answered the question. I guess I'm behind in the chat, Waving Hunter. My apologies to you. Mea culpa to Waving Hunter. No, I'm a little behind the chat. I got caught up and then suddenly a whole bunch of text messages came through in the chat, so I fell behind again. And it looked like you were still going on about the topic. It's a timing issue. It was my timing, not you, Waving Hunter. Okay, got it. Yeah, no, Lawrence McDonald is not a member of a terrorist organization. The ANC is not listed as a terrorist organization by the United States. The fact that it was in 1988 was 35 years ago. 38 years ago. That's not true. It hasn't been for a long time. In America, we elected our senators by each state legislature until 1916, and we changed that. And now people vote popular vote. So talking about 1900 and senators is a different context than talking 2026, if that makes sense. Is it not possible to motivate for the project to a combination of people with dogs? No, Snippets. It's not possible. This isn't Noah's Ark. This is not Noah's Ark. We don't bring giraffes with the people who are fleeing the Congo. We don't bring rhinoceri with the people fleeing from Uganda or from Sudan. We don't bring animals. This is not the Noah's Ark. You want pets here? Be grateful we let them come in. Be grateful we let them come in, but it's at your expense. So, how fair is that? There's limited resources. So is it fair to take $3,000 that could bring a refugee or two refugees over here and use it to bring a dog over here? Come on. Snippets, I'm not picking on you, but just put this in context here. That's hardly reasonable or fair. Why in the world would we do that? That makes no sense whatsoever. Jade says, my family of four and I are starting the process. My husband and I and my two little girls. I kindly ask for advice. We're business people at the brunt of much threats and persecution. What is your request for advice, Jade? Oops, it just jumped on me. I'm going to close the poll. 465 votes, just because I can't see the chat over here anymore. I need to be able to see it over here. Okay, I'm way behind in chat, so I'm trying to catch up on here again. It slipped on me again. Okay, Castle Rail Yard, there you again, and then Waving Hunter, okay. You're welcome, Waving Hunter. Okay, and thank you for being patient with me, okay? People think, oh, he's yelling at nobody. I'm not yelling. Thank you. Russell says, yes, sir, thanks. I have all the documents. Okay, got it. Good. Okay, all right, Lauren's already got that. I wonder if Mel is watching the program. I doubt it. We found a kennel that will house them, but agree it's not cheap. $44 per day per dog right down the street from me. $44. Now, you probably might be able to find it cheaper, but that's a 5-star rated at a 5 stars for a kennel. Just 10 kilometers from me. $44 a day. Ladies and gentlemen, that is insane. I am not paying $44 a day to put my dog in a kennel. $44 times 17. That means you have to pay 748 Rand per day. That's a hotel in South Africa. I can get a hotel for 900 Rand to put a dog in a kennel. Okay. Do you know any Chinese spouse coming over? No, but I've been told on a couple occasions that Asian spouses have come over with South Africans who are eligible. And also a few black spouses have come over for white spouses. Haven't heard from any of them, so I can't confirm that. But I've been told that. Okay, all right, that's where I was at. Okay, got it now. Well, I've asked that question many, many times, Peter. What's more important, your pets, your life? And some people say, frankly, my pets. Well, okay. Well, there you go. That's your prerogative. Gosh, I have outstanding fines, a couple summonses. Hope that could cause problems for you, Sandy. Hey, Sandy, how's it going? That could cause you problems. My suggestion is resolve those issues if you can. Why not start a nonprofit that reunites refugees their pets once? Well, Chantel, because South Africans sabotaged that. Someone started a not-for-profit. It's called Operation Pet Lift. And South Africans, evil, attention-seeking South Africans, sabotaged it. They attacked the people who tried to put it together. They worked their way and weaseled their way inside the group and undermined it. And Morgan pulled back. There are nasty South Africans who ruin everything. There are nasty South Africans who actively try to undermine this program and ruin it by blabbing about locations where the screening takes place, by blabbing about the process, by telling authorities in South Africa what's going on, by lying about it, claiming this happened, that happened, this. The Kenyans are evil, they're rude, they're disrespectful. Lots of nasty South Africans who've been undermining this program from the very beginning. And that's what happened with the pet thing. Out of the goodness of her heart, Morgan also tried to put this together. She reached out to some people in South Africa. They started making plans. They put a lot of things in motion. They registered a non-government organization, only to be slandered. Look what happened to Antoinette. A group of volunteers all over the country that help South Africans, and they've been slandered. Someone's put out a fake document claiming that they've sent it to the FBI and all these law enforcement agencies. It's all intimidation. They've attacked Antoinette and her whole group all over the country. They've slandered them, and those people take money out of their own pockets, falsely accuse them of taking money from people. That's why. There's no reward in helping people when it comes to South Africa. Not a damn reward. Like Philadelphia. Oh, how come you only go to rich South Africans? What a crock of horse shit. Why don't you go to informal settlements with Afrikaners? Well, why don't you invite me? Well, you could come to Philadelphia. So I went to Philadelphia, only to be led to 3 different locations that weren't Philadelphia, putting my personal safety at risk, leading me on wild goose chases. And eventually I found the right place, only to rock up and find out that I was never invited there. A resident asked me to come there and gave me the impression that they had approval. So then I get there and I leave and all these shitheads talk about me. What was he doing here? Who is he? What is this all about? This scam of the refugee program. No good deed goes unpunished in South Africa. Every good deed. Look at how DRSA was destroyed. Every good deed gets screwed by some shithead South African. Every good deed. You don't need a birth certificate for the interview. I don't see the question that she was asking. She said, I kind of asked some advice. Since she never gave a statement, she just said she asked for advice and never explained it. Maybe it comes down a little bit lower. Who is WCS? You mean Church World Service or RSC? No, you don't need a birth certificate for the interviews. You just need a birth certificate for your green card application. There you go, Karen. Thank you for sharing that. My family of 4 and I are in the process of applying. Do you have any advice for us? It's my husband. Okay, well, that's not a question. You said you had a question, Jade. Advice? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Be patient and be prepared to go, even if it's inconvenient. Don't tell anybody, Jade. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Operational security. You don't want people telling someone and you lose your job. You don't want people telling someone, then you become a target for people in your neighborhood. Don't tell anybody. It's your business and your business alone. Not your spouse, not your own employer. I mean, not your spouse's employer, not your employer, not the school, not your family, outside your meeting. Don't tell anybody. Keep it to yourself. That's my advice. Does that help? Mandy Basson, arrived January 15th, still don't have communication, start paying back my flight. Well, that's because, Mandy, oh yeah, actually, it's a good question for you. So it was January. So it's 6 months. I would not worry about it. They'll get in touch with you, IOM. Or you can go look up the International Organization of Migrants and write to them. Write to them, give them your case number. That's what I do. I wouldn't give the case number immediately. I would look up the International Organization of Migration, look for a contact message, ask them about repaying your flight. That's what I would do. Okay? Mandy Basson, January 15th. I don't recall hearing from you for an interview. Hey, Francois Ferreira. Literally, I'm seated here in Houston, not once ever asked for birth certificate. You will be for your green card, 12 months. Feeling much better because of this chat. Was worried about denial letter. Didn't lie on my interrogation. No criminal record through tax files. Yeah, I think you're going to be fine. Birth certificate is not a new requirement. No, it's not a new requirement. So, although some people are saying that they've been needed for their interviews, I'm not aware of that. I've not seen that confirmed by USCIS or by RSC. Maybe, I don't know, but you need it for your green card. Yep. Yeah, it's not Noah's Ark, Michael. It's not Noah's Ark. Jumped ahead of me again, chat, folks. I'm trying to catch up. Sorry, it just doesn't play nice. Okay, now I'm caught up. Okay, so that's the poll ending. Have you know any? I already answered that question. Any ties? I have ties U.S. that happily say they can look after my dog while I'm settling. Well, okay, that's great, Bia. That's fantastic. Then you're gonna have to arrange for transfer to your dog or for someone to pick it up. Program means sacrifice. You have to be 120% committed. It means leaving family behind, pets. That's a hard decision you need to make. Exactly. I mean, you know, the people who live in other countries who flee from a war zone can't take those things with them. You need it for the green card. Yep. Okay. I saw an article, The Spectator, about migrants UK complaining about their newly built house. People should be, yeah, exactly. They build a house for them free and they're complaining about it. You're welcome, Waving Hunter. My pleasure. Francois Ferrer gave a membership to the black dude on the right. Okay. Congratulations to the black dude on the right. You over here? Sadly, some people are using this program for destination shopping. Yes, Pizza Party, some are. Costs about half that here per day. Well, that's in South Africa. I know that. I've kenneled my pets in South Africa. And it cost half that here 5 years ago. Chinese spouse married a South African, exactly. But I haven't met him, but I've heard there's a couple come over. Okay, no caps. You're going to get deleted if you use caps. Exactly, and this is why I was asking about making pet-friendly accommodation for people with pets. I will stand down and go down. Well, Snippets, ship your pets over here. But it's not Noah's Ark. They're not going to pay for that. Evening, Wom. I hope you are well. I have an odd question, and apologies if this has been answered. My mother works in administration in the Army. No basics Army documents are needed, correct? Well, Bolzan Zan, I can't answer that question accurate. I can just tell you what I know is that there haven't been a lot of requests for Army documents in the past. Recently, there has been more requests for documents. I'm not sure why. If they ask you for documents, then you get them. Otherwise, it's not going to be an issue. I hope that's the best I can answer. Sharon said, very true. Okay. Sumere, I think we should meet and I can chat to you about pets. Everyone has been dancing around this. I'm not dancing around with pets. Who's dancing around at Sumere? I'm not dancing around. I've answered it on it straightforward. Cannot move ahead in life when you constantly look back. I love my animals, but I have to say goodbye. We found great homes for them and we're moving on. Hey, Werner. Cool. Any news on the lady artist GoFundMe? I don't even know what that is. Oh, you mean the Tunnies. They actually, their trip should be over. They were doing it in June. I think, or maybe they're still done. Temporary housing and hotel in California, and it's pet friendly. Most apartments here are pet friendly, and extra cost of $500 a month. Well, to me, $500 a month to have a dog is not pet friendly because you still got to feed it, you still got to take it to a vet, you still got to take care of it, and if it gets injured, you're gonna have to pay lots of money. So $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year to have a dog in your house. You're gonna have to love that dog a lot. Waving Hunter, but I answered the question, Waving Hunter. Do you have more information I don't know about? Had to put a dog to sleep because he weighs 68 kg and could not move with me when I left the farm. Typically behavior some Southern. Yes, Angelique. It's a historical program that will literally be in future history books. You can go and stay. Easy. Poor Colonel. People suck. Hey, Ferrer. I've been rude and blaming and sadly, but it's because of despair. Yep, no, cool beans. That's why we didn't block you. We did. Well, one of my mods blocked you and I let you come back because you were despairing. But you realized that, and thank you for stopping that. Your level of patience beyond me, This program has taught me a lot about patience. Yes, Castle Rail, but I'm told I'm not patient. I'm also the people who slander me and claim I'm lying to people. I've never lied about anything. I've never misled anyone intentionally about anything. If I make a mistake, I admit to it, and that's rare, and I do. June report will be out tomorrow night, Crystal, and I'll cover it. Hasigi says for the birth certificate, now you have to upload it. Well, again, that's a change, okay? Whoops, we jumped ahead again. Come on back there. Francois Ferrer says, be honest, 100%. Okay. True Colonel, some very rude, unappreciated. Yep. For the love of God, keep your mouth shut about the interviews. Exactly. Don't even use your real name on social media. Exactly. Cool Beans. I only know his name because of something else, but otherwise, Cool Beans is Jacques Fundamental. That's as far as I know. That's who he is. But that doesn't mean you can't be tracked, by the way. If you think, you didn't say this, Cool Beans, but if you think using a pseudonym on social media will protect you from being discovered by investigators, you don't understand information technology. You can be found. Okay? There were a couple who brought their cats over. The cats are suffering this heat and being exposed in the house. People should think about it's fair to the animals. Well, the heat's not normal, Phoenix. It's not normal. And you should have air conditioning in your house. Then you wouldn't have an issue. My husband didn't even know when I went for my appointments. Okay, there you go, Coco. Apparently, the medical exams for the green card application cost $3,700. Anyone found a cheap option? Okay, that's news to me. You don't pay for that, to my knowledge. That's supposed to be part of the process for refugees. I will check on that. Maybe I've got bad information, but yeah. Do refugees have to pay for the medicals for a green card application? I was going to say yes. Yes, you generally have to pay out of pocket. Okay, all right. Okay, typically $200 to $500. Your figure's a bit high, $200 to $500. Now, if you have lab work, that's separate. Yes, so you'll have to pay for that. Okay, that's good that you brought that up. Appreciate that. $300 to $700 is a bit high. It's $200 to $400 usually. That's a good question. Meow Fedora, are you one of the 59ers? Because you'd be the only people that be worried about green cards right now are people who came through July 5th of last year. Before that. No, Cool Beans. I know your real name. I'm just saying. It has to be on the bridge, correct? Family replied as well, if someone's previously attempted to commit suicide and that person's not sure mental health status, will there be problems in the process? Ruben, your question's confusing. If someone tried to off themselves, they're probably going to have a psychiatric evaluation before they'll bring them over. Hey, Flinkdick. The question at the end of the day is, how much do your pets mean to you? Says Snippets. Yep. Yeah, do not laminate documents. That's a bad idea. Good day. Thanks for all you're doing. Your patience. South Africa. Question the birth certificate. You still have to have an unabridged birth certificate. You have to have your parents' names on the birth certificate. Sometimes the father won't be known, but the mother's always known. We are still waiting, but my 6-year-old just asked me again if she can pray, and she prayed for us to please fly tomorrow. Oh, Sonnenblom suck. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully it'll work out for you soon. Okay, what else? I had to pay almost $30,000 for medicals when I went to the U.S. to work. No. Bia, first off, the medicals you get aren't going to count. You're going to get medicals in South Africa at a clinic where the U.S. government is contracted to get the information that it needs in order to process your case. When you apply for the green card, you have to have medical examination. And as was pointed out here by Meow a few minutes ago, you have to pay for that, apparently. $200 to $400. So... My question about Zaire. No, I didn't, Snippets. What's your question about Zaire, Zimbabwe, and Zambia? Catching up again. Arrived on May 13th. Agency is just being proactive with green card. Oh, wow. There you go, Meow. Thank you so much. Where are you at, Meow? You didn't tell me. I don't recall seeing you in the chat ever before, and I certainly haven't interviewed you. May 13th. Welcome to America. Do you ever get curious about some of us and research who we are behind the YouTube names? Actually, you'd be surprised, Bia. I know who some of you are. I do. Yeah. You can't leave South Africa if you have kids on your team without their birth certificate. That is correct, Heinrich. That's South African law. You can ask that of Idris Elba. He couldn't get his kid in the country. But I would recommend getting everyone's birth certificate. Yes, you should have before you leave. Arrested in 2009, but the case was thrown out. Do you think it's a problem for me? Not if you were honest about it, Flecky. And not if you're honest. Cruiser Phoenix, do you know the Tinashe Peters from Zimbabwe? I've not looked over any documents recently, Cruiser Phoenix. I'm drawing a blank here. I've looked over documents for you in the past, have I not? I haven't looked at any documents in the last week or so. Son is 22, was diagnosed with mild autism and Asperger's when he was 6, finished matric in a special school. Can I include in my application? Only if you have guardianship over him. If you have guardianship over him, I would put him on there. And you need to mention it to them, but I'm not sure how that works. Why can't you laminate documents? Because it invalidates them, Debbie. It invalidates the document. It's altered. You can't do that. They can't be scanned properly. They invalidate documents by laminating. If we were born in Zaire, Zimbabwe, could these be regarded as safe havens? If you're a citizen of those places, yes. All three of them would be, well, Zaire probably wouldn't be, but yes, you would be considered if you have citizenship there. Zambia especially. Went to Oklahoma City. Was nervous at first, as it was one of the states I hadn't researched at all. But it's okay. Well, I'm glad you like Oklahoma City. A little too hot for me. Can I make use of that on this program? For what, Dee Dee? What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean. Whatever forms you need are going to be filled out in the program. It will be a problem on your applying for a green card if you don't have a birth certificate with your parents' names on it. Yeah, Verna says I'm CIA. Yep. Okay. My 8-year-old also prays every night for us to go over. Vasfat Yakels. Good night. Good night to you. Okay. I read an article regarding new travel laws issued. Okay. That travel law applies to everybody, including me. If I come to South Africa, they're telling me I have to disclose how much cash I have on me. It's the cash and equivalents that you have on you. That's all it applies to. It doesn't apply to anything else. But it will apply to you. If you're a South African leaving and you've got $1,000 US in your pocket, you have to declare it to US or to the South Africans online. But it doesn't work. News 24 tried to use it the next day. It didn't work. As an American coming into South Africa, I have to declare whatever cash I have on me or equivalents. That's their new stupid rule, which I'm pretty sure violates the law in South Africa, but they're getting away with it. Yeah, Sigi will tell you, I'll link your cases. Why did you ever link the case in the first place is my question. I don't understand that. Yeah. Well, when you're worried if you're honest. Well, why are you worried if you're honest? I mean, you have to be honest. It's not a tax declaration. It's a currency declaration. The law has always been there. You are allowed to bring in 25,000 Rand or $10,000 to South Africa with you when you come there. And I think you can take the same amount out. If you have that amount or more, you've always had to declare it at the border. Now they're telling us we have to declare whatever cash we have. If we have 100 Rand or $10 in our pocket, we have to declare it. To me, it's just an opportunity to shake down travelers and falsely claim that they didn't declare something so they can confiscate your money. That's what it's all about for me. Would an entire family be denied over a forgotten traffic violation? Well, a family is denied. First off, we need to get rid of the denial. I know we keep saying denial, but it's not a denial letter. It's a letter of ineligibility. If the primary applicant is ineligible, then everybody doesn't come over. If, however, you decide to get another eligible adult in the family to apply, the ineligible person needs to stay off the case, and the others can get approved, another application, and they all come over, and you leave the ineligible in South Africa. That's your option. Let me tell you something, Colonel. Oh, let me tell you something. The Colonel's very, very intelligent. Colonel's anonymous. Yeah, it's Chris in Africa is what CIA stands for. We land on Thursday. We're in Phoenix. It's very hot. Oh, it's always hot in Phoenix. It's the Valley of the Sun. I call it the Valley of Death. I lived in Arizona. Hot, hot, hot. Okay. All right, so that's 2 hours, folks. Wow, can you believe we've done this for 2 hours? You headed to bed. Yeah, I think it's getting a bit late. How and where? There's no way to unlink your case until they contact you. Then you tell them you don't want to be linked. That's the only way I know you can do it. All right, folks, I have not eaten all day. I'm pretty hungry, and I need to take a break here. The soccer is starting now. Family reunification process is for people who live in the States, who are green card holders, who seek to have family brought over with them. It's a scam. It allows terrorists to come in our country, and it needs to be stopped. It will not work for South Africans who are ineligible. You will not be allowed to come over under the family reunification because you've been deemed ineligible for some reason. All right. That's it, guys. It's just Chris because I was born on Christmas Day. Chris is not actually my name. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done. How are we doing on likes? 405 likes, 416 people, 425 still here. You guys take care, and we'll see you next week for this. And I hope everybody's well. Mandy Basson, you're very welcome. God bless everybody. Have a good evening. And good luck to America, which, thanks to someone earlier in the chat, identified we have Florian Balogun back in the lineup. Hopefully he's prepared. Hopefully he's been training with his team all along. The injustice has been corrected. That's pretty cool to hear. That's going to do it, folks. Thanks for being here. Cheers.